Convince Me podcast, where we are on a mission to convince you to step out of your gaming comfort zone and try something new. With that said, let's get to convincing. Last time we talked and met and did all the things, it was a nostalgia episode where we played two games that we remember loving and checked to see if they held up. And as it turns out, they both did. Granted, I may have cheated a little bit because I played a remastered version, but still, going back to the 64, unless you... actually, did the 64 ever come out with a non-3-prong controller? I feel like I remember there being another controller that came out that wasn't odd. But I could very much be misremembering, but I don't know. It could have been a dream.
I don't think so.
It might not have. But yes, no, both games held up really, really well decades later, which is a crazy statement to make. This episode, we're back to a normal convincing, where I will be convincing Darren to try the cozy game, Minami Life, and Darren will be convincing me to try... Wait, is that a Metroidvania I see? Monster Sanctuary.
It is. It is a Metroidvania.
Who'd have thunk it?
But it's unlike any Metroidvania you've ever played.
That's what they all
or
say.
Me at this point. I'm starting to feel like an expert in Metroidvanias. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man. But obviously, before we get there, we have a fun segment this week. Darren, what are we gonna be doing?
So we're gonna do our own little spinny spin on the Newlywed Game. For those who haven't been with us the entire time, those who don't know us personally, those who might just be new or newer to the show, Ryan and I have been friends now for just about 20 years. In that time, we've come to know certain things about each other and our tendencies to do and behave in certain ways. So we figured, why not try to monetize that?
You know?
So that's what we're doing.
So the way it's going to work is we're going to ask a question. One person, so shout out to our phones. We both have Galaxies, and the Galaxies come with an S Pen. We're pretty high tech here. It's going to be real interesting. And we wish
we were sponsored by Samsung. Samsung, get at me.
Oh, that was weird. Oh, geez. But something that I don't ask, I genuinely don't know what just happened. But something that Darren and I noticed when we write something on our phones, it's backwards. So like this is the opposite of what I drew. It's mirrored. So I don't know why mine is mirrored. Darren's is fine because his is coming through to me and his is normal. Mine is not so much. So Darren, yours are going to be fine. Mine are going to be a little bit backwards, but...
Oh, sure, because, it's recording your perspective.
We'll say our answers so you'll know what it's supposed to be.
Which we have to do for audio-only listeners anyway.
That is fair. That is 100% fair. But our first question is, who has spent more overall time gaming throughout their life? So, Darren, I want you to take a second and think while I write down who I think has probably spent more time gaming. Now, this doesn't take into account individual, time. It's overall. So, that might change things from what you're thinking your answer is. However, Darren, let's find out. Who would you say, between the two of us, has spent more time gaming throughout their life?
Me, 100%.
I gave my answer to Darren.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, here's the question. I want to know if you got to that answer the same way as me. How did you get, what did you calculate mentally to try and figure out who it was?
I suspect I have played FFBE longer than you have played every game you've ever played combined, in terms of just sheer volume of hours.
Okay, fine. FFBE does throw a wrench in it. If you were to take FFBE out, do you think your answer would stay the same?
Yes, because then
Because
the next logical step becomes Borderlands 2.
so I one
And
thing
then
that
it
I
also becomes just the sheer amount of time that I played Pokemon competitively, and yeah.
that's fair. But you're taking into account that you've played a lot, but you play a handful of games over a long period of time. I play
Mm-hmm.
more games over a smaller period of time. But I do agree
Mm-hmm.
that I do not think that it would balance out. I think that is absolutely fair.
No,
I will give that to you
I think
100%.
I think if the question had been who has played more games,
Oh,
the answer would have unequivocally been you.
yeah,
But who has played longer? I've dumped a ton of my life into them.
fair enough. Fair enough. Next question. Darren will be writing down his answer. Who would I say was my first video game crush? I'm so for me,
It's written. It's already written.
for me, it could go one of two ways. Because if you really think about it, right? I no, there's one answer. I'm sorry. There's one answer. The answer that I would absolutely have to go with would 100% be Zelda.
Specifically,
Ocarina
Zelda
of
from
Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Yes. And I want to make it even clearer, adult Zelda from Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
Because even though when I would have played that, I think I would have been a similar age to Young Link. Because I think that came out
Is it
like
ever said
96,
how old?
97.
Is it
No,
ever said how old young Link was?
I don't know. But there was something, I've talked about this before. There was something about the buildup of the ending fight of Ocarina of Time that just solidified my love for Ocarina of Time Zelda, because the music's playing, and every time you get hit, you hear Zelda's like cries of like, "Oh my God!" You felt like you were genuinely fighting for the fate of the world. Yeah, no, absolutely Zelda. Part of me was like, "Is it Aerith?" And I only say that
You
like
didn't play 7.
Kingdom Hearts Aerith specifically, but I say that because that would have been the age where I really like was aware of what I was feeling, you know? But absolutely Zelda. Absolutely. Okay.
I'm curious, just for funsies, who would you have said mine was?
I'm trying to
There
think
is
of
one answer to this. There is one answer to this.
not Yuna.
Nope.
What generation are we talking? Like early years of gaming, or like
That would that would I don't know if I can answer that question without giving it away. Um I was older than 10 years old.
so was it a Star Ocean character? Is it
Gonna need
Raimi?
you to just guess and I need you to just guess and not ask for hints.
It wasn't Raimi, right? Because I remember for the longest time, every time you made a character, it was either named Raimi or Ame, I think. Those are your names
Both
that you were
correct.
going for.
Both correct.
Dude, I'm blanking.
Both wrong. That would be Riku from Final Fantasy X.
Really? I'm not gonna lie.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know that I would have said.
100%.
Okay, so my first "It's Not Her" was the right game. I just got the wrong character.
Mhm. Mhm.
Fair, fair. Riku's
Mhm.
pretty dope.
Now to honorable mention though, it would not have been Raimi, but it would have been Sophia from
From
Till the End of Time.
fine, fair. I'll give you that.
Because Raimi wasn't a thing until college.
Oh
So
wow.
that definitely wouldn't have been the first. Oh yeah, first departure was I think late '09, maybe early 10.
Jeez, dude, I'm lunching. All right, so next question is: if Darren could be any
Mhm.
video game protagonist, who would he be? So this could go a few ways, right? This could go a few ways.
I don't think it could. I don't think it
I
could,
I
especially
think.
considering we kind of literally already did this as like a
All right,
question of the week
all right, Darren.
situation,
What
to be
protagonist?
fair. It would be Red from the Pokemon
Hey, I
series.
wrote red.
Yeah,
Because
I
my
mean
mind immediately went, what world would he want to live in? And then, oh yeah, that's an easy one.
it's the only one because it's the only one that, as we've discussed, that wouldn't outright suck
That's
to be a part
that's
of.
that's 100% fair. That's 100% fair. Um okay, next question. If you used a D&D 5e class to describe me, what class would it be? And I think I'm going to get this one as well. I think I know this one. So I think the class that would best describe me, because if just purely on all the RPGs we played together and the classes I choose, it got to be cleric, right? Bar- Bard. Please elaborate.
It's always been Bard, and not Bard from like the classic charisma perspective.
Oh, thanks.
Simply Bard because of the overarching commitment to things musicality, without there being any intention to it at all. Like you unironically musicify so many things
So much.
that like if there was a magical component to it, I think that would immediately be something you'd gravitate towards. Even down to the fact that back when we were young little baby weebs, and we would say, "What if you could have any Zanpakuto from Bleach? What would it be?" And yours was immediately something musical. That means there can really truly only be one class that it could
It's
ever be, and
it's
it would
always
have
sound.
to be Bard, which you can still play supportively
It is always musical.
as
Whenever I
5e.
talk about like breathing in or Demon Slayer, or Zanpakuto or any of that, it's always sound or music based every time because it's so
Every
cool
time.
every time.
Every time.
Um,
So Bard. Bard is the answer for the audio. The
Fair,
audio folk.
good old Bard. And if I was playing in Pathfinder 2e, I could just have musical accompaniment all the time, all the
Only
time.
if you were able to acquire arcane spells.
Fair. Next, what word best describes Darren's gaming tastes? Metroid. No.
Metroidvania apparently is the
No,
answer.
no, no. That's no. I'm gonna. All right, I'm gonna write it.
Literally, my answer was going to be Metroidvania (parentheses apparently).
No.
I,
Like you have. That's only been a recent thing. You've been playing not Metroidvania for
it's true,
95% of your life. Um.
but you said single word. What word? Oh man. Um,
Okay. Um.
what word best describes my gaming taste?
That's two words.
How do you
Dang
do
it.
that in one word? Ah,
Oh, you know
no, I
what?
can't say that. That's
I don't know. Okay. I'm not gonna give any hints or anything. I'm just gonna see what you say. I have my answer. It probably won't match because we might be thinking of this differently. But what do you got?
it's not a word, but it is an acronym,
Okay.
and that would just be ADHD.
That's your gaming play style. That doesn't describe your. No, that does describe your taste a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it
Yes, it
does.
does.
Yes, it does.
So when I,
Especially if you like hyper focus and you go into like hyper fixation, because like
so I went
yeah,
not that route. I said strength because whenever you play a game, if there is an option to choose what your play style is, your play style will always be brute strength every time.
but you said not my playstyle though.
Well, gaming
Because I agree.
tastes
Because
in that sense would be
I would
you.
have thought you were talking like genres or the games that I like.
I almost said
In
role
which case, like
playing.
I thought about, let's say I almost said collectathon because
Dang.
collectathon could be accurate for how
Yeah.
I play a lot of things.
Yeah, I tweaked on that one. Fair. You know what? Dang. Yeah, that absolutely is correct. Okay, we're gonna try the next one. If I needed a good cry, what game would I pop in and play? This man, I have an answer. I dang, a lot of games are actually coming to mind. You know what? No, mine's set. I'm curious to know if you're gonna get this one. Oh boy. So if I need a good cry, see, okay, that is where my mind went first initially. That is exactly where it went. But you know what immediately popped up into my head right after I thought that? The opening
Lost
of The
Odyssey.
Last of Us Part 1.
Oh, see, I wouldn't know that,
No, you
but
wouldn't. But those who've played it, you know. But I think it would be fair to give you that point because Kingdom Hearts is absolutely what immediately came into my head. 100%.
specifically both the loading screen and the end.
See the
Because
the
like you'd sit there and you'd listen to Dearly Beloved and you'd get weirdly emotional about it, but you'd only do it for about 5 minutes because that's not actually the game. And then you'd get weirdly emotional at the Riku Sora Kairi split right on Destiny Islands. And then you'd get weirdly emotional the first time you saw Donald and Goofy purely for nostalgia
Why
reasons.
is it weirdly
And
emotional? Why why
then
why does
because
weirdly
like it
have to
doesn't make a
be?
lot of sense. Those are not emotional moments, but they evoke emotion purely because of the nostalgia to it. Um,
Yeah, I think yeah, Kingdom Hearts was the right time, but the that opening menu, the menu theme, dearly beloved, it it's weird. It's basically a medicine. And I saw
mhm.
this on one like years ago when I watched listened to Dearly Beloved for whatever reason on YouTube. I was just going through the comments and someone voiced it perfectly in saying that listening to Dearly Beloved genuinely feels like you're taking medicine to make yourself feel better because there's just some purging of something that happens when you listen to the song. Ethereal is the only word that comes into my mind. But with that said, it's Friday night. You have nothing to do all weekend. You have access to any game. What do you play?
Hurry up and write down your answer because this is only there's only one answer to this. You might have a hard time picking, but there is only one answer to this.
All right, fine. All right. What do you got?
Borderlands 1.
Oh, I was so close. I was so
That
close.
and that's good. That is your right series, wrong game.
That I see. I think it's one of those things where it's like I was curious to know if you were gonna go for like a nostalgia based thing, like you could, or trying a new game, right? Where you could go back and play Golden Sun again, or you could play Lost Odyssey or something. But golly day, Borderlands it's got its hold on you. I respect that.
Because that's the thing, right? It's a game that you know that you're going to get exactly what you want out of it, but because of the way that you can go about playing it, it can still be completely different than your expectations. So like I chose 1 because there are no dedicated loot drops anywhere. Right? So every legendary that you get to drop feels special. Um but then if you just want you can just do runs of the armory glitch and you get your immediate payoff, and then each time you get something that you want you feel stronger as you run back through the armory for your next run because you have to beat the boss every single time you do a run.
It
So
gives you
it's at least
exactly
if you're
what you
playing on
want.
console it does,
That's fair.
you know.
That's
So
fair.
if I put myself into that place, like that's what it has to be.
Fair enough. Final question.
Borderlands 2 is a better game, but
Sure.
Borderlands 1 is what I would have chosen.
What would I choose as my ultimate gaming snack? Final question.
Gaming snack.
Doritos Mountain Dew. I. So here's the thing, right? What. I'll say my piece after you've written it down because I don't want you to alter it in any way. Am I gonna? Am I? No, wait, no. I haven't said anything yet. Hold on, hold on. I haven't said anything yet. I haven't seen it. I didn't see what you wrote. So the thing is, right? It has to be something that's not gonna dirty your hands because you're gonna be touching a controller, right? Like that's important. Unless you get the
Mm-hmm.
little fingy chopsticks, but I'm not gonna do that. So my brain immediately, as you were running it down, went back into the past. The past.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go on.
back when Darren and I were playing Sacred 2, we would make these 7-Eleven trips.
Go on.
And it just get the worst garbage, right? And specifically, it was the energy drink Nas and Kazoozles is what we would do. And I was going to say Dr. Pepper too. The issue is I don't think Kazoozles exist anymore.
They do not, but I will say those sweet tart ropes are very similar.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, back in even as far as after I graduated Towson, but specifically back in like early college days, Darren would visit and we would just make these late night 7-Eleven trips and just get exorbitant amounts of snacks and drinks. And they had this, I haven't been to 7-Eleven in so long, so I don't even know if it's still there, but they had these machines and there were these chips in a bag inside this little container, and you could take out the chips, and there was this machine that you just put the container underneath, and it would spurt out chili and cheese, and we would I would single-handed, I'd put the container underneath and just both at the same time, and then we'd get home. It was times, man. It was times. But I do remember living with my friend after I graduated college. You came by and we tried it one time, like one of those times when I was living at that house, and
Mm.
I think we
Mm-mm.
tried it, and it
Mm-mm.
just
No, because we couldn't find them. They didn't exist anymore. And
we
so that's when we fell into Buffalo Wild Wings chili con queso for a
let me
while.
tell
And
you,
then even
dude.
that went away.
Let
And then
me.
even that went away.
It's still there, but it's not the same. I think they changed the recipe. But
Oh, I'm sure.
with that said, that was our newlywed. I'm curious to know if we phrase questions a certain way. I wonder how much stuff there is that we haven't memorized about each other, because we got some of those things wrong.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, well, fine. But with that said, we are going to
I
move
get it
into
wrong.
our convincing segment. And in this convincing segment, I'm curious to know how you're going to respond to the game I played. So, Darren's fiance is a cozy gamer. She loves cozy games. She loves games that make you feel all warm and fuzzy. There isn't super world-ending stakes. And I think that there is absolutely a place for those games. I think there's a place for every game, but cozy games, like there's a whole subreddit dedicated to them. And
Mm-hmm.
this game is short, sweet, and so cozy and so adorable. The game I'm playing this week is Minami Lane, sorry, by Doot Blibloop Zaku. And what they normally work on are their cozy game creators, and this game is no exception. Minami Lane is a game about building up a street and getting people to move in and opening businesses, and that's really it. And it sounds super simple, and it is, but the way it's presented to you is so fun. So I'll break down exactly how it works. So you start a mission. There's 5 missions in the game. You could easily beat this game in one sitting. Easily. There's a playthrough on YouTube, and I think it's beginning to end in 45 minutes. However, there's a sandbox mode so that you could play ad nauseum. So the way it works is there's days, there's a calendar, and when you start a level in story mode or campaign mode, sandbox is whatever, but you'll get an objective to meet and an optional objective. And all you get for doing that optional objective is an achievement. Like there's no like you're not missing out on like an item or an ability, or it's just an achievement. It's just a thing to strive for. So there's no stress and no pressure, which it's nice to play a game that's just like, hey man, play the way you want to play. So each day you get a chance to build one building. You could build none, so you can save up money, but every day you can build up to one building. As the story goes, it introduces you to all the buildings that you can build. As far as I saw, because I got to the final mission, I believe that there are 12 buildings in the entire game. Some of the buildings are an elder mansion, which is how you get elderly people on your street. You can just build a house, which is where the young people live. You can build a boba shop, a ramen shop. It is very Japanese inspired, to the point where the creature giving you the tutorial is a tanuki. You can also build an onsen, which is a giant like hot spring. You can build a park. A service station, which gives you other features like repainting. You can recycle houses to get some money back. You can also get this feature that lets all the trash that people leave behind automatically get cleaned up. And then you can use the service station to help you do the most important thing in the game, which is to please your residents. So the gameplay loop is you start a day, and the residents go about their business at the different places you build. But what you'll notice is as they go to these different businesses, you can select them once they leave, once they finish visiting a business, and they will give you feedback on the business. So when you build a shop, you have the option of choosing the recipe for your boba, for your ramen, what things you sell at the convenience store, all that. And when your citizens leave that establishment, they'll have you can select them, and a little thought bubble pops up saying, oh man, I wish this restaurant had more eggs in their ramen. Or I wish this place had less shrimp in their ramen. And you can bookmark those statements, and at the end of the day, your job is to edit the recipe to fit exactly what they want. Because the recipes are dependent on either elderly, young people, or yokai. And yokai are like the final group of people that you can get.
Sure.
And so you at the end of each day, your job is to just modify your restaurants to fit the perfect recipe. Younger people, you can also choose how much of a profit margin. So obviously, as you add more ingredients, the price of the item goes up, but you get to choose on the dollar how much extra you want to charge for the thing that you're selling. So if your ramen costs 11, you can set a profit of 3, so it sells for 14. So you get $3 profit every time they buy something. And the younger people in the game are coded to want a smaller profit margin for you because they don't have as much money to spend. The elderly are more okay with a bigger profit margin for you. So what you want to shoot for is to have 2 restaurants, one for the elderly, one for the youth, and you want to uptick the profit in the elderly store because they're okay with paying a little bit more for their things.
Robbing the old people. I'm in.
Amen. You know? And that's
It's a
the gameplay
capitalist
loop.
dream.
Is it's a cozy city, street builder that's also a puzzle. And as you get through the missions, what you'll start seeing, I think in mission 3, I think is when it starts, maybe 4, is you start every day, you get a newspaper, and that newspaper will modify the day or the rest of your stage. So some of the things are the youth or the younger people have more money to spend, so they're okay with the bigger profit margin. The elderly have less money, so you need to lower their profit margin. Sometimes you'll even get something that the elderly have a new favorite recipe. So then your job from there is to go through the day, mark the things that the people are saying, and then you have to remodify the recipe to be exactly what they want. And so each level was only taking me like 10 minutes or so, if that. and it was just an amazing blend of city building simulator. Like you're not playing SimCity or Cities Skylines, and you have to focus on the plumbing or the garbage pickup or traffic routes. It's just like, hey yo, I love this building here. I'm gonna build it here. Um, Although you don't really get to choose. The way it works is every time you build a new building, the street just gets longer. It's like a
No.
isometric view. So each building you build, it just gets built on a new segment of street that's built. Um, but you also modify the colors, and the color schemes in this game are incredible. It
How so?
is like, so when you build a building, you choose not all of them, but most of them. You choose its roof from one of three options, and then you can
Mm.
choose its base color and its roof color. And some of your colors, like all of your colors, are, I don't want to say all, but a lot of them are pastel-y.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like pastel green blue, or you have brown, or you have like pastel salmon. And in the color combos that you can build, that you can make with these buildings, are just so pleasing to the eye. It's like Japanese inspired lo-fi playing when you're doing it. And what happens when the day ends is the music gets filtered. Like there's just
Mm-hmm.
a regular filter so that it becomes even more lo-fi, and then when you start the day, the filter goes away, and so you feel like you can feel that difference between the new days. Um, and it's just a quick pick me up as the day goes. So the day goes from like 8 to 8, I think is, I never actually paid attention to the time, but I think it's 8 to 8. And normally you just sit and watch the people go to the little buildings. You can fast forward up to 3 times speed. But what you do is every time there's a level, there is a tanuki hiding somewhere and trash to pick up. If you find the tanuki, you get money. If you pick up the trash, you also get money. So you're encouraged to just let the day play out, and while it's going, just going through with your mouse and just pressing A on a piece of trash, it goes away, and then you get money. Finding the tanuki, there were many times where I could not find it, and it was hidden really well, but the tanuki is always like an obvious object, like there's a game controller on the ground, or a backpack, or a book, or a note with
Mm-hmm.
a letter with a little heart on it. Like, it's obvious that he's there, but sometimes he's hidden so well that I just missed him. But you have something to do while the day is just playing out and you're watching your money tick up. It's like a constant dopamine boost of like cuteness, coziness, and feedback. And it's just bite sized and it's amazing.
Hmm. Okay. So you know about as well as most that like surface level, this is not something I would really ever care about. Um, is the loop, I guess, satisfying enough to justify the fact that it is as short as it is? Like, did you feel as though you accomplished anything with it? Did it, I guess, did you get what you were looking for out of it?
That's a hard question to answer because I honestly wasn't sure what I was looking for because
Mm,
it was an unknown. I didn't know what I was getting into, but once I saw what it was, I mean, yeah, it's a low stakes, simple, like, build the aesthetic city block that you want, create the color
mm,
schemes you want, build the restaurants you want, and just make your people happy, and that's it. Like, it's it's super short, and here's the best part: it is, even at full price, it is a $5 game.
that's nice.
So even if it were to leave Game Pass or whatever, it's $5 for a game that you can finish the story of in 45 minutes, and then there's a sandbox that you can just play until you're truly done with it. And there's only there's I want it's either 20 or 30 achievements, but you get 2 achievements per level when you complete the main objective and the optional objective. So that's
Mm-hmm.
10 of those 20 or 30 gone already. And then
Sure.
every time, as you get into later levels, cats start appearing, and you get money for petting them. And one of the achievements is to pet 300 cats.
That's a lot of cats.
And then another, I don't think I'm flipping, I might be flipping them, but another one is pick up 100 pieces of trash. It might be 300 trash, 100 pets. I can't remember. But, like, it's low stakes. And after playing a lot of these games, like after God of War, where you've just killed the world, and or any JRPG where like the fate of the world is on the line, sometimes it's okay to just let me just play this chill city building game for like an hour and then
Sure.
move on to the next thing.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't it sounds decent all in all. I mean, uh, relative to the sandbox mode, if you can only build 12 buildings, what's the point?
I never explored it
Hmm.
because as you know, I'm still in my summer camp. So a lot
Sure.
of my time is spent getting home, showering, spending time with my family, and laying in bed. But
Hmm.
I don't know for sure. I don't know if there's if there are extra things in sandbox mode. Um,
Hmm.
there might be like things that you don't have in sandbox mode. Yeah, I think you would just play it until your heart's content,
Hmm.
and
I mean,
it's
so there's definitely a place for games like this, right? We've talked about this before. The games that don't necessarily have like a big point to them other than to be exactly what they are. Um,
so
I don't know.
what people on the
I
on
don't know about this one.
I'm in the Cozy Gamer subreddit, and what a lot of people are saying is that sandbox mode would be used to like tackle challenges, like get like to tackle the achievements, because it's not about the story, obviously, right? It's just
Hmm.
experiencing. It's just a game to just turn your brain off, just solve some city building puzzles, and it's just low stakes. And I think that there's definitely a place for that. But obviously, if that's not what you're into, like it's not. But I had
Yeah,
fun with the 35 whatever minutes I put in. Like I said, I almost beat all of them, all the
sure.
stages. So
I mean, this definitely sounds like a great game for a cozy gamer, especially if they're, let's say if their main game is something like Sims or Animal Crossing, and they just
yeah,
want to play something different for the sake of playing something different for the day before they go back to, whatever it is that they're doing. I could definitely see this being a good thing for people like that. Um, I'm not necessarily sure it's my cup of tea, but I mean,
it
that's
happens.
not to say that it's a bad game. Of course, it's just not my cup of tea.
Fair enough.
You know what is my cup of tea?
Is it Metroidvanias?
Apparently, but Pokemon. Pokemon is my cup of tea.
Yes, yes, it is.
So what if there was a Metroidvania that was basically just Pokemon?
Continue.
I'm gonna, because here we have Monster Sanctuary, and Monster Sanctuary is it's very strange in a lot of ways. So I I mentioned when I first saw it, I guess last week at the end of the episode. It gives me a very similar aesthetic vibe to Shovel Knight, and that remains true.
Oh, okay.
Um, in terms of the way that you can move, in terms of the the pixelated art style, in terms of even the animations that some of the NPCs that you encounter have, very similar to like a zoomed out um, Shovel Knight. But right at the beginning of the game, you pick your character, and you can choose either your male or your female sprite, which I learned you can actually change in game eventually, and they will even switch to calling you like your parents will switch to calling you like their son or their daughter when you change that.
Cool.
So like if you thought that the choice didn't matter at all, and then realize, well, I don't want to be a girl, I want to be a boy, you can go change it and do whatever.
Sure.
If that matters to you. Right off the bat, right, and I'm gonna pull these up just so that I can make you make the choice.
Okay.
Right off the bat, you play or you get to choose the monster that is basically your bloodline monster that gets passed down through your bloodline. And there are four choices. So it's basically, your Kanto choosing your starter. All right?
All right. Give
I
it to me.
want you to understand that because there's four, this already becomes so much more difficult than it is because you have to think this isn't Pokemon. This is a Metroidvania. So what else does this choice mean? You really
Wait.
don't find out for a little bit, but you do find out pretty quickly. Your four choices. I'm going to save the one that I think you would immediately default to for a little bit. So you can choose a Spectral Toad, which is known for its tanking and healing abilities,
Sweet.
and can also inflict poison.
Vic.
You can choose a Spectral Eagle. Monster favors physical damage, but is often built to utilize shock-based attacks, making it a good fit for teams that can support it with other shock-based monsters.
Oh man.
Do you choose the Spectral Lion, which is versatile but a bit more challenging to build a strong team around? But it's a good like Joker. It's variable. Or do you choose the Spectral Wolf, specializing in water and wind attacks, and tends to get built more towards the crit build? Gee, Ryan, which one would you pick?
Honestly, it would be up in the air between the eagle and the wolf, but yeah, no, yeah, I'd go
To
wolf.
to the surprise of you, I'm sure I chose the eagle.
What
And
birds?
like right off the bat, they give you like stat comparisons almost used with like pips filling up gauges.
Yeah.
And so obviously I picked the one with the highest damage, like attack and magic outright, of course. I will say the Spectral Eagle damage types are both fire and lightning. Well, wind, but in this game, lightning is wind. Um, so okay, you get your monster, you move on, you start fighting other monsters. As you progress through this Metroidvania 2D, exactly what you expect the Metroidvania to be type of map, um, there are monsters, and they just walk around. And as you jump up to them, they're usually in groups of like two or three. You enter into a battle screen after touching them, and you can send in up to three monsters that you have to battle the three monsters that they have, and they're in lines where it's like closest, middle, farthest, and that's how they act from inside to outside. As you like you learn pretty quick that it shows you that there's some monsters are weaker to some elements, resistant to others.
Naturally.
um your first two monsters, typically you want to have them use things that do multiple hits because most skills do multiple hits. And as they do multiple hits, they build up a counter that will also increase the amount of damage that your third monster does. Every battle that you do, you get 1 out of 5 stars, and the more stars you get, the more likely you are to get rare loot. And the rarest of the loot that you get from defeating these monsters are the eggs of those monsters, which you can then immediately hatch. And now instead of like catching a Pokemon, you just have them at your disposal.
Do you feel because it's turn-based? You said.
It is.
Do you feel because normally Metroidvanias are like fast-paced action because like
Mhm.
did you feel that doing turn-based things like having turn-based combat your slowed down the pacing of the game at all?
It certainly did, but not to its detriment. It did it in the sense that when you first enter into battle, let's say you've got 6 monsters at your disposal, you can only send out 3.
Yeah.
And so you look at what you're about to go against and you can choose the 3 that you send out. So what it does is it gives you more opportunity for thinking about your team synergy, but also being strategic about, elemental typings versus resistances versus what kinds of weakness can they do. Do you favor a composition of all damage? Do you want one of your monsters to be more of like a provoke tank while one is more of a supporter that can buff the damage of your party? Do you want to bring somebody who heals? You can't bring a support, a tank, and a healer because that's all three of your monsters and your damage will suffer. So do you choose to build a team that revolves more around things like poison or burning and just let the residual damage tick them away while you keep your team healthy? So it really gives you, it's Metroidvania in its traversal while very much being like a Pokemon-esque game mechanically.
And so
Until you realize
Oh,
that as you're exploring, one of your monsters is always out with you, and you have each one of those monsters can interact with the world around you differently. So the spectral eagle that I chose, when you jump up to a platform and you hold X, your eagle will grab you and carry you a little bit further and a little bit up.
so it's
So
not
I was able to
Infinidagger.
reach. It is not Infinidagger, but I was able to reach ledges that I could not have otherwise.
And so the
You
main
get
four are the determinant of your abilities, or every monster does?
every monster that you catch has an ability to interact with the field, and you're not only beholden to the six in your party to bring them out with you. So I got to a point where I had seven different monsters. I could use any of the seven at any time to interact with the field around me, which you need to do because there are doors that you can only open if you can summon a fire orb. Well, eventually you can get a hold of a monster called a Tengu, and the Tengu can summon a fire orb that can interact with the or can summon a flame that interacts with the fire orb. They can also burn down vines that are blocking your path. Or you can get like a Sasquatch Yeti thing that can break through invisible walls that you can't see, kind of like bombing a wall in a Zelda game.
Okay. And so these
Oh,
prompts automatically pop up if you happen to have the creature, or how
no.
like
You have to pay attention to the environment. The orbs are obvious, right? You walk up to a giant orb with a flame symbol on it. Gee, I wonder what you do.
how do you call it
And so
out?
you there's a little menu that you can pull up that you can select which of your monsters is out with you, and it tells you what their interactability is on that menu. So you never have to just find out. It always tells you. Um, and so you say, "Oh hey, I have this monster that interacts with these fire orbs. I'm gonna use that." You interact with it. Usually you get a chest. But do you know what this game has that Pokemon doesn't have?
What?
Equipment for your monsters. So every monster equips a weapon and any of three accessories relative to the builds that you want them to have. Oh, and by the way, each monster also has its own skill tree.
Did you
Each monster has its own skill tree. Did you register that? I need you to pay attention to that. Every monster as it levels up gets a skill point to
how
use
big?
on its own skill tree.
How big are the trees?
They're not small,
Wow.
and many of the abilities can have multiple points dumped into them to make them stronger.
Jeez, dude.
In fact, I think almost all of them can, except for certain passives. So each attack that you unlock, you can, at each new level, unlock a stronger version of it. There's some that are just flat stat increases, but each one of those flat stat increases, you can put, I think, 4 or 5 skill points into each one of them.
Were you leveling up pretty frequently?
I believe when I got to all said and done, my whole party's worth of monsters was up to level 8, which was decent. Um, but like the every single monster you fight in the game, as I understand it, can drop an egg. And I
I
got curious, and I pulled this up, strictly out of genuine curiosity,
Uh huh.
and I found someone on Reddit 5 years ago, mind you, but I found someone on Reddit who put together a tier list of Monster Sanctuary monsters, and they compiled this tier list after 250 hours of gameplay.
That's a lot of game.
All you really know about this game is you are a monster tamer who is trying to build up your rank within the guild effectively. to be able to get access to other areas, other features, because there are more of these champion monsters forming than there ever used to be, and you're on a mission to try to figure out why and defeat them because the champion versions of those monsters are just stronger versions of existing ones, and they could be dangerous. And that's the effect of what you know of the game at the beginning. Your goal in the game is to try to uncover why and what and how, all while having complete customizability over the monsters that you have through skill trees, which you do get items that can reset their entire skill trees, by the way. Each piece of equipment that you find, you can upgrade at a blacksmith.
And the skill tree are the
Mm,
flat upgrades, are they percentages or flat numbers?
flat numbers.
Okay.
But then there are other skills that give you percentage based increases based on that stat.
Nice.
So
Did you
let's say there's a skill tree that your party takes X percentage less damage based on whatever your like total HP stat is.
Oh my gosh.
And that's one of the tank monsters that I got. Or when the battle starts, you gain a shield, which obviously a shield blocks all of your HP damage until it breaks through the threshold,
Yeah.
based on, or where the total value of that shield is your attack power and your magic power.
Does the game tell you like what the roles of each of these monsters are? Or do you kind of have to just guess it?
You look through the skill tree and you figure out how to make them be whatever you want them to be, and then you can kind of pigeonhole them into that role based on the equipment that you give them.
Sure.
So if you have a monster that you want to be crit damage and crit chance focused, everything you give them should either be attack or magic, and then crit percentage and crit damage. Um, each one of their abilities in their skill trees tells you whether it's physical or magical damage. So do you want something that does both physical and magic? Do you want to really lean hard into physical or magical? In which case, do you build them that way, knowing that you're going to potentially forego an entire branch of the skill tree, which might potentially have a skill that you want at some point?
So something else that was on my mind. You said you have to pause whenever you want to access a monster to use its overworld abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that having to do that slowed you down at all?
Nope. Because it's not even really a pause menu. It's, I believe, the left or right bumper.
Oh,
Pulls up
just
just like a quick. It just pulls up like a quick select of your monsters. You can scroll over. You can read them if you need a refresher. You pick one. It switches. You move on.
okay. So then it's quick. Okay,
The
cool.
thing that slowed me down the most is trying to micromanage the skill points and the equipment
Right.
because I had to fight analysis paralysis pretty hard here,
Hmm.
especially as you start getting access to more and more monsters. If you get duplicate eggs of things you already have, you donate them to the guild, and as you donate a certain number of monsters, it grows the power of their defense force, and they give you like money and stuff. So there's always value in getting duplicate eggs.
Sounds like it. Jeez, dude. And
I
it's
did not. So when I say it's a Metroidvania, it is a Metroidvania technically, purely in terms of the fact that you are a 2D sprite moving on a platform based map with a map that is very, you know, Metroid in its nature. But at its crux, this is a team building monster capture game with complete asset control relative to how you build any given monster in the context of the type of party that you're trying to build.
yeah, no, I'm in. I'm into that. I'm absolutely in.
Honestly,
That's
like for how you described something like Cassette Beasts was, you can get exactly what you're looking for out of Monster Sanctuary too.
oh, I believe that.
The difference
That's
is you don't have to capture. All you have to do is fight them over and over until they drop an egg. The second they have an egg, you have it now.
is there respawn? Like you like leave the
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
screens
They'll
or is
respawn.
it like
It
camera
is
following
screens.
you?
It is
Okay.
screens.
So if you
Well,
leave
like the hybrid of the two, where like you cross and then it's like boom
oh
boom,
yeah, yeah,
but it
okay, yeah.
does pan over sometimes. But the map is intuitive to follow, and there are fast travel points that you can unlock. to get to different places that you've been. So
And can you leave?
it's
You said
very friendly.
there's no respawn,
There is, yeah.
so leave screen, come back, and then they're there.
It
Nice.
might take a little longer than that, to be fair. I didn't pay attention. But all I know is when I went back to some areas that I didn't want to deal with those things, I just started jumping over and around them.
Movement feels nice and tight.
Yeah, good platforming, platform-based puzzle solving, environmental platform-based puzzle solving.
Sweet.
Like
And
the good things that you want in a Metroidvania, but the core mechanic of the game is definitely a turn-based team building monster capture game.
what about the soundtrack? Did its job, or did anything stand out?
Did its job. Nothing crazy. I mean, the first little city that you come to when you actually make it to the guild, it's city is wrong. I'd call it more a keep than a city.
Sure.
Um, that was fun, but in the sense that it's nothing that you'd write home about, certainly, but it's also not a bad soundtrack by any means. It's environmentally appropriate, probably 64-bit type music.
Sweet. No, I'm in. If I were to ever find time, which that's definitely in the realm of games I'd play.
Look, I'll tell you what, if you do end up pulling the trigger on that there Rogue Xbox, this would be a great game to have on a mobile.
I won't be, especially because we think they might have revealed the prices, and we're looking at 1,050 for the higher end one. I'm not paying that for a handheld.
No.
And
Wasn't that what like Steam Decks used to be when they first came out?
not even. I think the high end Steam Deck is like 750 for a high end OLED Steam Deck.
Wow.
Um, let me double check my math. Let me. The OLED Steam Deck starts at 550.
Wow.
And if you were to get the 1 terabyte OLED is 650. And the base Rogue Ally Xbox is potentially looking at 750 or 700 for the lower end Rogue Ally. So again, no, I will pass on that. But you talked about we talked about handhelds, and one of us has started playing Donkey Kong. How you feeling about it?
Gee, I wonder. Um, okay, so Donkey Kong Bonanza is the best first party Nintendo game since Tears of the Kingdom, which admittedly wasn't that long ago.
I just don't know if they've been too
If
many.
Tears of the Kingdom had never come out, it would have been the best first party Nintendo game since Breath of the Wild, which again still wouldn't be that long ago. If Breath of the Wild hadn't come out, it would have been the best first party Nintendo game they've ever made.
Oh my god.
Now, and I know that's a bit divisive because at its core mechanic, it is just Donkey Kong running around a pretty much fully destructible environment. And there is always benefit to destroying everything around you. But for this being Donkey Kong's first solo title since DK64, the homages that they pay to Donkey Kong Country. In fact, I literally ended up at a map called Retro Country or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where I was actually sending Ryan Snapchats of the music and whatnot. You find DK's treehouse right at the beginning, and there's a banana hidden in there that you need to get because the whole game is you're just trying to go and get these gem bananas, and 5 gem bananas equal what, Ryan? A skill point because there's a skill tree. Because this game is just an RPG complete with skill trees and equipment for you and your companion, and form changes for Donkey Kong that make you do different things in the field. I even found the rhino that DK becomes in the Donkey Kong Country games. And you walk up to it and attack it, you basically give it a high five. If that's not the most fun thing, I don't know what to tell you. Donkey Kong can pick up chunks of the earth and then surf on them on the field, and eventually then the earth disintegrates because it's just, organic material. But one of the things you can get in your skill tree is that dirt that you're surfing on lasts longer, which really speeds up your ability to traverse these decently sized open world maps.
So I think to backtrack just a hair, I think it'd be fair to say it's not an RPG, it's an RPG light. Because it has a skill tree, but you're not leveling up. You're not. There's no dialogue options. Like it's RPG light in the same way that like Assassin's Creed Origins is RPG light. It has RPG mechanics.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair to say. It is. There are RPG mechanics in this adventure game.
Which is dumb for Donkey Kong. That's crazy.
It's so good. It fits Donkey Kong so well to the point where if they make a Mario game like this, it would be the best Mario game they've ever made. Like if you gave Mario the ability to get skill points to improve like his fire flower or the ice flower, or make it so that they're like the Tanuki tail did different things in different types of like mechanical interactions with the world. I honestly think that would probably be the best Mario game they've ever made. 3D Mario game, to be fair, because
Over
obviously that's
Odyssey
divisive to say.
and Galaxy.
So
Wow.
Odyssey was very divisive for people. A lot of people didn't like Odyssey when it came out.
I actually don't remember too much about Odyssey's release, but I do know that a lot of people put Mario Galaxy, or specifically Mario
Yes.
Galaxy 2, as like
Yeah, they do. Well,
top tier peak Mario.
yeah, and it's definitely. I never played it, but I've certainly seen it played. Um, I will say Mario games have changed based on 3D Mario specifically, based on the platform that they're on and just the capability of that platform.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you see formulaically Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and the Mario Galaxies kind of all play the same way in that you have this hub and you select worlds where you can go to the different worlds, and then each one of those worlds drops you in, and then you have things that you can complete on that map. And that's the formula for those 3D Mario games. Mario Odyssey was a bit more open in that way that you could just go off into the world and explore, and you would find the moons in the world, that there were challenges that you could find and you could seek them out. Donkey Kong just gives you the ability to find the bananas that you're looking for all throughout, ceremoniously or not. Sometimes there's little challenge stages you complete. Sometimes you just have to dig holes in places and find hidden areas that you wouldn't have been able to find if you hadn't just been exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this it's a really good game. I wasn't joking when I said that Donkey Kong Bonanza is easily a console seller. Not that they're having trouble selling consoles, but that's because scalpers are still trying to buy all of them. Um,
Well, you also,
but it
yeah, yeah, I think the critical acclaim that it's getting would also agree with you. So I don't think it's like an outlandish statement to say that. So
no, and if this is the future of what first party Nintendo games are going to be for the Switch 2, it's gonna be an interesting console generation. Let me tell you.
that is exciting. We'll see what the PS6 and whatever the new Xbox.
Xbox Generation X, I'm sure.
Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see what the future holds. We do know what the present holds for the anime that we're watching,
Oh dear God.
because for me personally, I'm not watching every anime that's releasing because time, but this season probably has the most anime that I am watching concurrently with it that are releasing within the same season. Like, I will typically average like 3 or 4. In the past, I've averaged like 5, or I've watched 5 at the same time that are releasing. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
didn't I say that I was up to 8 for this season or something like that?
I don't know.
I think I'm up to like 7 or 8 for this season, and what's crazy, I can't speak for Kaiju number 8 because it hasn't. I haven't watched the new episode yet. But other than Kaiju number 8, every one that I am watching is so good, so good. So to break
I
down what
just
I'm
counted.
watching.
I
Okay,
just counted.
okay.
I am I am currently watching this season actively shows that are airing. I'm either watching or are about to be watching. Um 13 shows.
Good lord, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about to be 7, and then 8. Yeah, no, I have 8 that I am watching at this point in time, and they're all
13.
all so good, so good.
13.
It's mind blowing. And
I
then,
I don't even know 13 shows that I'd ever watched.
and what you know what's crazy? This season's about to be followed up by the finale of 2 incredibly major animes.
Yeah.
Although I think Infinity Castle is being split. I don't think Infinity the movie
I
is
believe
getting. That's it.
I believe
So,
it's 3 movies.
but we're about to start the final arc of Demon Slayer, and then My Hero's ending, which I don't know what I'm gonna do myself when My Hero's over.
Cry
Like,
about it and then start it over. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. But no,
Watch Fire Force.
I might do that. But yes, no, it is an exciting time to be an anime fan right now.
13 shows.
So
You mean let me go ahead and name them for you. So obviously One Piece,
Yep,
Shield Hero season 4,
sure.
Kaiju number 8 season 2.
Okay, that's one for
I've
me.
started watching I've started watching I Was Reincarnated as the Seventh Prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability, and I started that because a reel of it popped up on my Facebook, and the animation of that just absolute utter nonsense is the kind of stuff you just go, why? Because the animation of the fight scene they showed was just stupid. So we
I love
started
that.
watching that. Cleavatess, of course.
Yep,
Um, Don season
yep.
2. To Be Hero X,
Uh huh.
of course. Um, Gachiakuta,
Yep.
of course.
Great
New
start.
Saga,
Not that one
New
for me.
Saga. Togananki,
Yes.
scooped up by an S rank adventurer.
Scooped up. Oh yeah, forgot about that one. So 9 for me. Jeez.
hmm I am going to begin tonight actually. Um, Apocalypse Bringer Minagra World Conquest starts with the Civilization of Ruin,
Okay.
and then of course the Water Magician.
And then for me, the Summer Hukaru Dead.
And I am still considering potentially watching Ugly Mug Epic Fighter.
I saw that. I've seen that all over the place. I don't know. I don't know what that is. And then we have what's the
It's a
rooster
giant
fighting?
it's a giant ugly dude who gets his power tested and it's off the charts, but he's still a giant ugly dude. And so people don't like it.
What's that chicken fighting anime? That's.
I believe it's called Rooster Fight.
I think so.
And I don't think that comes out until next year. Do you know what comes out January of 26 though?
Maybe no.
I believe Free Run season 2
Oh wow.
comes out in January of next year.
We just need to have free run and solo leveling duking it out every time. They just need to coincide every time.
No, you know what? At this point, what we really need to happen is we need the next season of Solo Leveling to come out when the new season of Black Clover comes out, just so Asta can aura all over Jinwoo, and it could be so fun.
I don't know, man. Like I do know, like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where any of it's going. But we could sit here and talk for hours about the anime season. We're not going to do that. We are going to talk about what we'll be doing next time. I will be previewing or convincing Darren to try Back to the Dawn by Metalhead Games. They are responsible for making a couple of prison games that I hadn't heard of called Inmates and Innkeepers, and then also Ultimate Prison Life. Darren will be convincing me to explore Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, developed by Don't Nod, and published by Focus Entertainment. Darren, what are they known for?
So Don't Nod, known for games like Life is Strange, Vampire, and Jusant. Jusant is currently, I believe, a PlayStation Plus game of the month. And I believe it was also one of the Humble Bundle games recently. Focus Entertainment got credits all over the place.
Yeah.
Warhammer Bolt Gun, My Time at Sandrock, Atomic Heart, and A Plague Tale, to name a few. But their Focus Entertainment's got like 7 pages worth of credits on their own website.
They've some
Some games
games.
you've heard of, some games you haven't. It seems that they're responsible for a lot of the Warhammer games, though.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so please look forward to that. Thank you for listening. It's always a joy to get to sit and nerd out about games and anime and all things that we both love. If you would like to see more of us, Convince Me Media, Convince Me Gaming, please search us up and send in feedback, follow, subscribe, whatever it is you do on the platform you are on. And with that said,
Are you convinced yet?